Alright folks, imagine this for a second. You're at the gas station. You buy a coffee, hand over a $5 bill, and the cashier gives you back a few coins. You throw them into your cup holder and forget about them. But what if I told you one of those coins could be worth 1.6 million bucks? That's right. A single penny. 1 cent worth more than your house, your car, and probably your cousin's bad decisions combined. Where we turn pocket change into power plays. Today, we're diving into one of the most insane coins in circulation, the 1988 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's shockingly been valued at $1.6 million on the current market. So grab your coffee, your magnifying glass, and maybe that jar of pennies sitting in your garage. Because this episode might just make you a millionaire. Let's break it down. First off, why would a 1988 penny, of all years, be worth 7 figures? It's not made of gold. It doesn't glow in the dark. It's not signed by Abraham Lincoln himself. So what's the big deal? Here's the scoop. The 1988 no-mint Mark penny is the result of a unique minting anomaly that's incredibly rare. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark. That's not unusual. But this particular 1988 penny? It's not just missing a mint mark. It also has a very rare transitional error. A transitional error is when the mint accidentally uses the wrong die from a different year during production. Think of it like putting the wrong shoes on the right feet. So in this case, a die from a 1989 penny got mixed in with the 1988 batch. It's subtle. Most folks wouldn't notice. But coin experts did. And boy, did they freak out. You know how in baseball a rookie card with a printing error becomes more valuable? Same thing here. Coin collectors love errors. They're like the typos of the numismatic world, and people will pay big money for them. Now I know what you're thinking. Alright smart guy, how do I know if my 1988 penny is the one? Well, here's what to look for. The telltale sign is the reverse of the coin. You need to look very closely at the designer's initials, which are located near the bottom of the Lincoln Memorial. On most 1988 pennies, you'll see the initials, FG, nice and crisp. But on the rare $1 million version, those initials were engraved using the 1989 reverse die, which means the initials look different, almost like they're a little off or flat. It's subtle, but distinct. If you spot that, you might be sitting on a gold mine, and this isn't just rumor mill nonsense. One of these bad boys actually sold at auction for a whopping $1.6 million. That's real. That's verified. That's life-changing. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his old workshop. Now, my uncle is what I like to call a borderline hoarder. The man has everything from rusty tools to magazines from 1973 stacked up like they're national treasures. As we're hauling out boxes, I come across this old Folgers coffee can, the metal kind, you know the one. Inside it? Pennies. Hundreds of them. I almost dumped the whole thing into a Coinstar machine right then and there, but something told me, hey, you talk about coins for a living. Maybe actually check them. So I did. And lo and behold, I didn't find a $1 million penny, don't get your hopes up, but I did find a 1983 double die reverse penny worth over $200. That paid for gas and a cheeseburger, and I'll take it. Alright, back to our 1988 superstar. If you think you might have one of these rare coins, here's what you do. First, don't clean it. I repeat, do not clean the coin. That'll destroy its value faster than your dog chewing on it. Next, get a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Check those initials on the back, then, if it looks promising, get in touch with a professional coin grader like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and assign a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A penny in mint condition is worth way more than one that's been in your pocket since the Reagan administration. Let's talk strategy. If you're into this kind of treasure hunting, here's how to up your odds. Start by checking change you get in daily transactions. Yes, seriously. The amount of rare coins that go unnoticed in regular circulation is wild. Next, hit up estate sales, yard sales, flea markets. Sometimes people get rid of coin jars without realizing what's inside, and if you're a little more ambitious, start rolls hunting. You can get a box of pennies from the bank, that's 50 rolls, and comb through them at home. I know folks who found coins worth hundreds doing this. Make it fun. Get your kids involved. Make a game out of it. Winner finds the weirdest coin and loser has to do the dishes. Alright folks, we've gone on quite the penny adventure today. Who would have thought that a little copper coin from 1988, a year most of us remember for mullets and cassette tapes, could be worth more than a luxury car? The truth is, these coins are still out there. They weren't all snatched up by collectors. Some are probably sitting in jars, drawers, and yes, maybe even in your couch cushions right now. So the next time someone hands you change, don't just stuff it in your pocket. Take a peek. You might be holding a piece of American history, and a one-way ticket to a fat payday. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories, hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Smash that like, ring the bell, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or if you've got a penny stash you're about to inspect. Alright folks, grab your coin jars, check between those couch cushions, and for the love of spare change, do not walk past another penny again. Because today, we're talking about a little copper coin that could turn your regular pocket change into a millionaire's dream. That's right. There is a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny out there, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny? From 1967? No mint mark? Sounds about as exciting as leftover meatloaf, right? But trust me, this isn't your average penny. This little guy could buy you a house, a few cars, and still leave enough for an epic vacation. So sit tight, because we're diving deep into the mystery, rarity, and market madness behind this humble coin that's flipping the world of collectors upside down. But before we get into all that, let me tell you a quick story. Back in the day, I used to toss pennies into a coffee can thinking I'd cash them in one day for pizza money. Fast forward 20 years, I find out I had been sitting on a small fortune, and yeah, I had already spent it all on pepperoni and root beer. Don't be like past me. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of why this 1967 penny is turning heads in the coin collecting world and how you might just have one sitting in your change drawer right now. Now normally, these pennies are pretty common. The US Mint pumped out over 3 billion of them that year. Yeah, billion with a B. So it's fair to ask, why would one of these be worth more than a Ferrari? Here's the kicker. While most 1967 pennies were made with regular specs, a handful, just a teeny tiny number, were minted with unique characteristics that make collectors go bananas. We're talking about error coins. We're talking about super high grades. And we're talking about no mint marks. Now the no mint mark thing might sound weird, but in 1967, the US Mint intentionally removed mint marks from all coins. It was part of an effort to discourage coin hoarding during a coin shortage. But here's the twist: while that was standard, certain combinations of errors, conditions, and grading from that year make some of these coins extremely rare, and rare equals valuable. Now, for a coin to reach that crazy $1.7 million price tag, it's gotta have something real special going on. A rare minting error, like a double die or off-center strike, an unusually high-grade condition, like MS67 or higher, perfect, untouched luster and shine certified by top grading services like PCGS or NGC. In the case of this mega million-dollar 1967 penny, it was a flawless beauty. We're talking perfect centering, full red luster, not a single fingerprint on it, and graded at the top of the top. Combine that with how few examples like it exist, and bam, you get a coin that makes headlines and makes millionaires. A couple years back, I found an old coffee can at my uncle's garage sale labeled junk pennies. Being the coin geek I am, I asked if I could take a look. He says, "Sure, take the whole thing. It's just trash." Music to my ears. I get home, start going through them, and what do I find? A 1967 penny. No mint mark. Shiny little thing too. My heart starts racing. I run to the computer, look up the grading scale, and suddenly I'm sweating like I just ran a marathon in a sauna. It wasn't the one. Mine was scratched up and looked like it had been through a blender. But for those 30 minutes before I knew, I felt like I was on top of the world. So believe me, when I say check your pennies, I mean check your pennies. This is normal for 1967, so it's not enough on its own. No scratches, no wear, looks like it just left the mint. This means the penny has its original copper color, untouched by time. Double dyes, misstrikes, or off-center designs make coins super collectible. Send it off to PCGS or NGC to get the official word. If you have a penny that checks most or all of those boxes, you might be sitting on a gold mine, or copper mine. I guess the highest recorded sale for a 1967 penny was just under $1.7 million. That sale shook the numismatic world. Since then, collectors have been on a treasure hunt for another example, and even if your coin isn't the $1 million one, many 1967 pennies in excellent condition still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It's not just about one magical coin, it's about understanding what makes them valuable and keeping your eyes peeled for those subtle clues that your spare change might be worth more than your car. That a little copper coin from 1967 could put a mansion-sized dent in your bank account, in the best way possible. And that, yes, you really should be checking those coffee cans, junk drawers, and old coin jars. Look, nobody thought a penny could be worth millions. But here we are. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and if you stick around, I'll help you uncover more of them. Now if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just like hearing about coins that make your wallet jealous, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell so you never miss a coin tip. And drop a comment below if you've got any interesting 1967 pennies or stories of your own. Trust me, we're just scratching the surface. There's a whole world of treasure out there waiting to be found, and it might just be in your pocket. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. What if I told you that a tiny little 1-cent coin sitting in your junk drawer could be worth $1.8 million? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. A penny? That's not even enough to buy a stick of gum. But guess what? There's a very specific 1992 Lincoln penny that has folks losing their minds at auctions. And today, we're gonna dive headfirst into the story of that $1 million cent. So grab your coffee, maybe dig through that change jar on your kitchen counter, and let's talk about how a coin that's smaller than a cookie can bring you closer to becoming a millionaire. And hey, I've got a funny story about my own penny hunting adventure that'll make you feel a little better about your own quirks. Trust me, this is gonna be a wild ride. Alright, let's start with the star of the show, the 1992 Lincoln penny. It's got a D mint mark, which means it was struck in Denver. Now, most of these are pretty common, right? You could probably find a handful of them rolling around under your car seat. But we're not just talking about any 1992 penny. We're talking about one very specific era coin, the 1992 close AM variety. Flip over your penny and look at the back. You'll see the words United States of America, and then that good old motto, 1 cent. Just under that is the word America. On most pennies, the letters A and M in America are spaced out a bit. But on this rare error, they're snuggled up real close like two teenagers at a school dance. That's what we call the close AM variety, and that small difference, that barely noticeable shift in spacing, is what makes this coin so valuable. Because it shouldn't exist. It was the result of a minting mistake where they used the reverse design from 1993 on a 1992 coin. That's like putting this year's frosting on last year's birthday cake. Sounds weird, but collectors go nuts for it. Now let me tell you how rare this thing is. We're talking unicorn rare. Out of the billions of pennies minted, only a handful of these 1992 close AMs have ever been found. We're not just talking about pocket change anymore, this is serious treasure, and if you're wondering just how serious, one of these babies sold for a mind-blowing $1.8 million at auction. Yeah, for a penny. The kind that gets stuck between your couch cushions or tossed in the tip jar at the diner. Makes you want to check every coin you've ever spent, doesn't it? Now I promised you a personal story, so here it goes. A few years back, I was at my buddy Rick's garage sale. You know the kind: used golf clubs, a blender with one blade, and a box of old coins sitting under a table. Now Rick doesn't care about coins. He was selling them by the handful for $5 a bag. I thought, what the heck, let me grab a couple. So I took those coins home, dumped them out on my kitchen table, and started looking through them like some treasure-hungry pirate. And there it was, a 1992 penny. My heart did a little cha-cha. I flipped it over and checked that AM in America. But nope. Those letters were socially distant. Classic white AM. My $1,000,000 dream? Crushed in 1 second flat. Still, that moment sparked something in me. I've been coin hunting ever since. And I've learned a ton about which coins are actually worth money and which ones are just, well, pennies. Isn't the only valuable penny out there. There are all sorts of hidden treasures in your spare change. You just need to know what to look for. That's where the strategies come in. If you're serious about finding these valuable coins, you've got to get in the habit of checking every single penny that passes through your hands. Look at the mint mark. Flip it over. Check the details. And invest in a magnifier, because trust me, your eyes aren't getting any younger. Hit up local coin shows and estate sales. Sometimes people sell off collections without realizing what they've got. That's where you swoop in like a coin ninja and snag the good stuff. Family, if you can look through their change jars. Offer to split anything you find. Most folks won't care, and you never know what's hiding in someone's sock drawer. You also want to keep up with coin market trends. Values can spike when collectors are especially eager or when new discoveries are made. That 1992 close AM? It used to be a mystery. Now it's legendary. So, there you have it. A humble 1992 penny, one tiny copper coin, could be your golden ticket to $1.8 million. All because of a tiny printing error on the back. It's like the mint sneezed in 1992 and accidentally created a millionaire maker. Now I know what you're gonna do next. You're gonna dive into your couch cushions, raid your piggy bank, and flip over every penny you can find. And you should. Because these stories aren't just about luck, they're about looking, learning, and being ready to strike when you find that rare gem. And if you want more tips, strategies, and stories about coins that can change your life, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and join the crew. I'll keep bringing the knowledge, the laughs, and the coin hunting strategies that'll keep your pockets full and your mind sharp. Don't let a $1,000,000 penny slip through your fingers. Check those coins. Share your finds. And stay curious. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Have you ever dug through your old change jar, pulled out a rusty penny, and thought, could this little guy be worth a fortune? Well, today, I'm about to blow your mind with a penny that might just be sitting in your pocket or hiding in that dusty drawer, the 1962 Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard me right, the humble 1-cent coin that could be worth $1 million. That's not a typo, $1 million. So buckle up, because I'm about to take you on a wild ride through history, rarity, and some pretty crazy coin magic. And hey, if you love discovering hidden treasures and want to get smarter about spotting coins worth serious money, stick around and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1962 Lincoln penny. For those of you who aren't coin nerds yet, this is a penny minted in 1962 at the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark. You know, back in the day, pennies were made mostly of copper, not that zinc stuff they use now. And copper pennies have always been a favorite for collectors, but what makes the 1962 penny so special? Why would anyone pay $1 million for a coin worth, what, 1 cent? Well, that's where the story gets interesting. It's not just about the coin's age or copper content. It's about rarity, condition, and a little thing called a mint error, or collector's demand. Now, before you run to your grandma's coin jar, let me tell you about my first encounter with a coin worth a fortune. I was about 10 years old, and I found a shiny penny under the couch cushion. I thought, hey, cool, a penny. But it wasn't just any penny. It was a 1955 double-die penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in the world. I had no idea at the time. My dad took one look, nearly fell off his chair, and said, "Son, you might have just found your college fund." Spoiler alert, I didn't sell it immediately, and I still regret it, but that moment sparked my love for coin collecting back to our 1962 Lincoln penny. What's crazy is, this coin is one of the last of the classic copper pennies before they started messing around with the metal content in the late 60s. But the real kicker is its scarcity in mint condition. Most pennies from that year are common as dirt, but the ones that survived without a scratch, without wear, with that original mint luster? Those are gems. Collectors call these coins high-grade uncirculated, and those coins can command jaw-dropping prices. Another factor pushing the 1962 penny to that $1 million mark is the story behind the mint. The Denver Mint was churning out millions of pennies, but only a few escaped the usual circulation beatings without any marks, dents, or fading. Those few pristine coins have become prized possessions, almost like the holy grail for Lincoln penny collectors. Sometimes coins like this gain value from famous ownership, provenance, or auction records. There was a recent auction where a 1962 Lincoln penny in flawless condition sold for close to $1 million. It made headlines because people can't believe a coin so small, so ordinary looking, can be worth that much. Now, you're probably thinking, how do I spot one of these? What should I look for? First, check the mint mark. The little D under the date? That's your Denver Mint clue. Second, condition is king. No scratches, no dings, original color. If it looks shiny like it just came out of a time machine, you're on to something. Third, get it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. This will officially prove its condition and rarity. And remember, even if your penny isn't worth $1 million, it could still be worth a few bucks, or even a few $100s, which is way better than that 1 cent you paid. Okay, let me lighten things up with another quick story. A buddy of mine once found a rare penny at a flea market. He paid $5 for it and was sure he had struck gold. Turns out it was just a regular penny with a funny scratch. We joked about it for weeks, calling it his $1 million mistake. But hey, that's part of the fun with coin collecting. You never know what treasure lies hidden in plain sight. If you do find something valuable, don't freak out. Take your time, research, and get professional advice. The coin market can be tricky, and you want to make sure you get the most out of your find. The 1962 Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Whether you're a casual collector or a full-on coin hunter, keep your eyes peeled, your hands steady, and your curiosity alive. You might just have $1 million coin sitting right under your nose. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies, hit that subscribe button, join the family, and stay tuned for more tips, stories, and secrets about coins worth serious money. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next treasure we uncover together. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting, keep smiling, and remember, sometimes luck is just a penny away. Hey there, coin hunters and penny pinchers. Welcome back to the channel where we dig deep into the hidden treasures hiding in plain sight in your pocket change. Today, I've got a story that's gonna make you look twice at those little pennies you might have been tossing in your jar or just ignoring on the sidewalk. We're talking about a very special coin, the 1994 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Sounds like just another penny, right? Well, hold on to your hats because this little copper disc could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Million with an M. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and maybe just maybe, you'll be lucky enough to find one yourself. Plus, I'll share a funny little story from my own coin hunting adventures that might just save you from throwing away your future fortune. So first off, what makes this 1994 penny so special? Most pennies from that year have a mint mark, usually a little D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, right? But this one? It has no mint mark at all. And that's rare. Real rare. Like spotting a unicorn rare. Here's the deal. The US Mint usually stamps a letter on coins to tell you where they were made. Philadelphia pennies usually don't have a mint mark for that year, but there's a twist with the 1994 penny. The no mint mark penny from that year is a rare variety, sometimes called an error coin, which means it slipped through the cracks of the minting process. Those errors are what coin collectors love, because rarity drives value. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions, let me tell you about the market value. Right now, this coin is worth roughly $1.1 million. Yes, that's million with an M. But hold your horses, because not every 1994 penny without a mint mark is instantly a millionaire. Condition is king here. If your penny looks like it just survived a zombie apocalypse, it won't fetch that price. But if it's in pristine condition, shiny and perfect, well, you could be holding the coin equivalent of a winning lottery ticket. Okay, now let me share a little personal story. A few years back, I was helping a friend clean out his grandma's attic. We found a box full of old coins, all dusty and forgotten. I casually flipped through them and spotted a 1994 penny with no mint mark. I thought, maybe this is just a regular penny, right? So I tossed it in my pocket. Later, when I got home, I decided to check its value online. To my surprise, this little guy could be worth thousands. I rushed back to my friend and said, "You might want to take a closer look at those coins." Turns out, his grandma had a tiny treasure trove all along. Moral of the story: never underestimate the pennies you find lying around. You never know when a simple coin could be a gold mine. Now, if you want to know how to identify a genuine 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny, here's what you do. First, look closely at the obverse side, that's the front with Lincoln's portrait. You want to see if there's absolutely no letter near the date. If you spot a D or a P, keep looking. No letter? You might have something special. Then check the condition: shiny, no scratches or discoloration, and sharp details. Be careful with counterfeits. Yes, there are people out there making fake pennies to fool collectors. So if you think you've got a valuable one, get it verified by a professional coin grader or a reputable dealer before celebrating. Alright, here's a quick fun fact. Abraham Lincoln was the first US president to be featured on a penny, starting way back in 1909, to celebrate his 100th birthday. The penny has been one of the most common coins in the US for over a century. But this 1994 no mint mark coin? It's like the rare celebrity cameo in a blockbuster movie, unexpected and priceless. Now, some of you might be wondering, how many of these coins are actually out there? Well, the exact number is a bit of a mystery, but estimates suggest only a handful exist in top condition, making it a holy grail for collectors. Let's also talk about the market. Coin collecting has exploded in popularity over the last decade. With the rise of online auctions and collectors from around the world, prices for rare coins have soared. The 1994 no mint mark penny fits right into that trend. So if you happen to have one, you're sitting on a very hot commodity. Before we wrap this section up, a quick note on selling. If you ever decide to cash in on your penny fortune, don't just sell it to the first buyer who knocks on your door. Get multiple appraisals and use trusted auction houses or dealers. Remember, it's not just about the coin but who you sell it to. The 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just spare change, it could be a ticket to serious cash. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's a reminder that sometimes, big things come in small, shiny packages. Next time you find a penny, don't just say, "There goes a penny," and move on. Look closer, check for mint marks, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find your own hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable pennies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any more coin tips, treasure hunts, and money-making strategies. Trust me, the coin world is full of surprises and I'll be here to help you spot the next big find. Thanks for hanging out today, keep your eyes sharp and your pockets heavy. Hey there, coin hunters and penny pinchers. Have you ever picked up a penny and thought, what if this little copper disc is actually a hidden treasure? Well, today, I'm about to blow your mind with a coin that looks like your everyday 2002 penny but is actually worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.2 million from a coin you could find in your couch cushions. I'm talking about the elusive 2002 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's rare, it's mysterious, and if you're lucky enough to hold one, you might just retire early. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's dive into the fascinating world of this humble but insanely valuable penny. Oh, and stick around till the end. I've got a wild personal story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth more than my car. Okay, first things first. What exactly is a 2002 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny? You probably have a bunch of pennies in your pocket or jar at home, right? Most pennies from 2002 come with a tiny mint mark, either AD for Denver or AP for Philadelphia. But every once in a while, the mint screws up or does something different, and a penny comes out with no mint mark at all. That's the secret sauce here. Now, why does this little detail matter? Well, coins without a mint mark for certain years are extremely rare because the Philadelphia Mint usually puts AP on their coins. In 2002, the Philadelphia Mint started putting the P on pennies, so a no mint mark penny from that year shouldn't really exist in circulation, or at least not in large numbers. Collectors love rarity, and the fewer coins there are, the more valuable they become. So a 2002 penny with no mint mark is like the holy grail for penny collectors. And when you find one in perfect condition, guess what? It can be worth as much as $1.2 million. Yeah, you could buy a house with that. Let me tell you a little bit about how these coins came to be. The Philadelphia Mint is one of the oldest in the United States, and for years, it didn't mark pennies with a mint mark at all. Then, in 1980, they started using the P mint mark to distinguish their coins. But for 2002, a few coins slipped through the cracks without the mint mark, possibly due to an error or a limited special release. These errors are like a golden ticket in the coin world. Now, before you run out to check your piggy bank, keep in mind that condition is everything. A beat-up, scratched, or corroded penny, no matter how rare, won't fetch anywhere near that kind of money. These million-dollar pennies are usually in mint or near-mint condition, meaning no scratches, dings, or discoloration. That I remember one time, I was visiting my grandma's house, and while helping clean out her old stuff, I found a penny stuck under the couch. It looked ordinary at first glance, but when I flipped it over, I noticed it had no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat, but then I realized it was a 2001 penny, not 2002. Still cool, but not million-dollar cool. The suspense was real though. That moment stuck with me because it showed how easily treasure can be hiding in plain sight. Look at the front, or obverse, side of the coin where Lincoln's profile is. Normally, the letter P should be just to the right of Lincoln's shoulder. If you don't see AP or AD anywhere on the coin, it might be the no mint mark penny, but beware of counterfeit or cleaned coins. Always have rare coins authenticated by a professional before you get too excited, and if you think the 2002 no mint mark penny is the only Lincoln penny worth big bucks, think again. There are a bunch of other rare Lincoln pennies out there worth thousands or even millions depending on condition, rarity, and errors. But today, we're all about that 2002 penny magic. Why does this coin fascinate me? Because it proves that treasure doesn't have to be buried in some faraway jungle or locked away in a vault. Sometimes, it's right there in your pocket or your change jar, just waiting to be discovered. Coin collecting is like a treasure hunt, and every coin tells a story. Whether it's a million-dollar penny or just your lucky change, it connects you to history and the lives of millions who used it before you. The 2002 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare gem, a fascinating coin that could be worth over $1 million in the right hands and condition. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. If you enjoyed this deep dive into penny lore, hit that subscribe button for more stories, tips, and strategies about coins worth money. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next coin that might just be sitting in your pocket, waiting to make you rich. And hey, if you've ever found a surprising coin or had a crazy coin story, drop it in the comments. I love hearing about your adventures, and maybe we'll feature your story in a future video. Thanks for hanging out today, keep your eyes peeled, and happy coin hunting, where we turn pocket change into treasure and ordinary coins into money magnets. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a coin that's hiding in plain sight, possibly in your own piggy bank. Imagine this: a tiny penny, the kind you might toss on the ground without a second thought, is actually worth over $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 1.3 million. Not a typo. Not a joke. Today, we're diving deep into the 1969 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the little copper wonder that's quietly sitting on a throne of gold. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is worth a small fortune, how to spot it, and maybe even find one yourself. Before we jump into the juicy details, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories. Trust me, you want to be the first in line when I reveal the next big coin jackpot. Alright, let's kick things off with some history, because every great treasure has a story, and the 1969 D penny is no exception. The Abraham Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, celebrating Honest Abe's 100th birthday. It's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, and that already makes it special. But among all those pennies, the 1969 D Mint mark is a superstar. Why? Because of a rare minting error. You see, the D stands for Denver Mint, one of the places coins are made. The 1969 D penny got hit with something called a double die error. Think of it like when your printer messes up and prints the same text twice, slightly shifted. On the coin, this looks like a doubling of the letters and numbers, especially visible on the date and the word Liberty. This doubling error is what makes the coin insanely valuable. Only a handful of these error pennies were made before the mint caught the mistake and fixed it. That rarity drives collectors wild, and the market value has skyrocketed. Over $1.3 million. That's right, a single penny worth more than most people's cars or a small house down the block. Let me share a quick story with you. A while back, I was helping a friend clear out his late grandfather's attic. We found boxes of old coins, mostly pennies, nickels, and dimes, the usual stuff you find in old collections. I jokingly said, "If we find a 1969 D double die penny, you're retiring next week." We sifted through hundreds of coins, and then, boom, there it was, a shiny penny with a clear doubling on the date. I kid you not, my heart skipped a beat. After getting it appraised, it turned out to be legit and worth a small fortune. My friend went from zero to hero, and I got the best "I told you so" moment of my life. So how do you know if your penny is one of these million-dollar coins? First, look at the date and the D Mint mark. Then, check for that doubled image, especially on the numbers. You might need a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to see it clearly. If you spot the doubling, don't just put it in your jar, get it authenticated immediately. Now, I know what you're thinking. $1 million for a penny? That sounds like a scam or a Hollywood movie plot. But coin collecting, or numismatics, is a serious business. Some coins are rare enough to be worth way more than their face value, and the 1969 D double die penny is a shining example. If you want to get into coin collecting or just want to know what might be hiding in your couch cushions, this coin is a great one to watch out for. Remember, it's not just about luck, it's about knowing what to look for and when to hold on to your finds. Plus, owning a coin like this is like having a tiny piece of history and a vault of value all in one. Alright friends, now you know the story behind the 1969 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny and why it's worth over $1.3 million. It's incredible how something so small and ordinary looking can hide such amazing value. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more tips on how to spot coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button right now. I promise to keep bringing you all the best coin secrets, fun stories, and maybe even some crazy finds from my own collection. And hey, if you have a coin story or you think you might have a treasure lying around, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about it. Remember, sometimes the biggest treasures are hiding in the smallest places. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and who knows? Maybe your next penny will make you a millionaire. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Have you ever looked down at a simple penny on the sidewalk and thought, could this little guy be my ticket to $1 million payday? Well, today we're diving into a fascinating little coin that might just blow your mind, and your wallet, in the best possible way. I'm talking about the 1973 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny copper disc that's currently valued at a whopping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.4 million. For a penny. Now, before you rush to your couch cushions or check that dusty jar of pennies in your kitchen, stick around. We're going to unpack why this specific penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you might just have one sitting in your pocket without even knowing it. Plus, I'll share a personal story about how I once stumbled on a coin that surprised me in ways I never imagined. By the end, you'll be armed with all the know-how to spot coin gold and maybe even start your own coin collecting adventure. So, hit that subscribe button now and get ready for some penny-powered fun. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1973 D penny. It's part of the Lincoln cent series, which has been around since 1909. Lincoln's portrait on the front? Classic. But what makes this one penny stand out is the D mint mark. That means it was minted in Denver. Mint marks are like little signatures telling us exactly where a coin was made. So, why would a 1973 Denver penny be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? That's what we're here to explore. First, rarity. While millions of pennies were minted in 1973, there's a tiny subset of the Denver Mint pennies that are rare due to errors, misprints, or specific production anomalies. Collectors and experts call these varieties, and they are highly sought after. One famous example is the 1973 D penny with a double die error or certain die cracks that make the coin extremely rare. Imagine a penny that was made with a slight mistake, but because of that mistake, it became a one-in-a-million treasure. Like finding out your old VHS tape has a lost scene from your favorite movie, except this is way more valuable. Now, here's a fun fact to remember: coins like this don't get their million-dollar status just by looking old. It's all about the condition, rarity, and demand. Even if you find a 1973 D penny, if it's all beat up from decades of pocket wear or chewing gum residue, it's not going to fetch that kind of price. It has to be in pristine condition, like it just came out of the mint yesterday. Okay, so here's where I tell you my little story. A few years ago, I was rummaging through a box of coins my grandfather gave me. He was a coin collector, but not the kind that kept his coins in fancy albums. More like he just tossed them in a box and forgot about them. I was casually flipping through, looking for anything interesting, and bam! I found a penny with a weird mark on it. At first, I thought it was just dirt or some scratch. But then I took a closer look, and I realized it had a tiny doubled image on Lincoln's face. Turns out, it was a minor double die error. Nothing worth $1 million, but it made me realize that sometimes the coins you overlook can hide surprises. I checked online and found out my penny was worth about $50. Not bad for a coin that used to be just pocket change. This little discovery was a game changer for me. It made me more curious about coins like the 1973 D penny and why collectors go crazy over certain varieties. It's not just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt and the stories behind each coin. Now, if you're wondering where you can find a 1973 D penny in this kind of condition, well, it's usually going to be in coin shops, auctions, or collections owned by serious numismatists. Sometimes they pop up in estate sales or even at flea markets. But beware of fakes and reproductions. If you think you found a rare penny, it's worth having it checked by a professional. Speaking of professionals, grading plays a huge role in value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect mint condition. The 1973 D penny that's worth $1.4 million. It would have to be almost flawless, like a diamond in the rough, but in copper form. Let's talk about market trends for a moment. The coin collecting world can be a roller coaster ride. Prices rise and fall depending on demand, discoveries of new varieties, and even economic conditions. But rare coins like the 1973 D penny tend to hold and grow their value over time, especially if they are iconic errors or unique minting quirks. Now, if you're serious about getting into coin collecting, here's a tip: start learning how to spot errors and varieties. Get yourself a good magnifying glass, a reference book or two, and follow trusted coin communities online. And most importantly, have fun with it. Coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about connecting with history and maybe, just maybe, finding that one penny that changes everything. The 1973 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is a tiny copper powerhouse that can be worth as much as $1.4 million if you find one with the right rare error and in pristine condition. It's all about rarity, condition, and knowing what to look for. And remember my story about the penny in my grandfather's box? It shows that treasure can be hiding in the most unexpected places, and you don't have to be a millionaire to enjoy the thrill of the hunt. If you want more tips on spotting coins worth money, strategies to build your collection, and stories from the wild world of coin collecting, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now go check those pennies. You never know, you might just have $1 million coin hiding right in your pocket. Hey there, coin fans and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're just digging through your old jar of pennies and bam! You pull out a little shiny Lincoln penny, just like the ones you used to get in your childhood piggy bank. But this isn't just any penny. This one could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.5 million for a single little penny. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind the 1980 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Why is this tiny coin worth such a fortune? How do you spot one? And what's the secret sauce that makes this humble penny so insanely valuable? Plus, I'll share a hilarious story about how I almost threw away my $1 million penny because I didn't know what I had. Stick around because this is going to be fun, informative, and maybe even a little life-changing. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my tips on coins worth money and collecting strategies that could make you rich. Alright, let's start with some basics. The 1980 penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, a coin that's been around since 1909. Normally, these pennies are about as valuable as the candy you could buy with them back in the day, but this special 1980 penny without a mint mark is in a league of its own. It's basically a little letter stamped on the coin that tells you where it was made. For pennies, the two big ones are P for Philadelphia and D for Denver. But the 1980 penny without a mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia, but sometimes the mint mark is missing due to a rare minting error. This tiny slip-up is what turns a regular penny into a treasure chest worth millions. How does a missing letter turn a penny into $1 million prize? Well, it's all about rarity. Collectors go crazy for coins with minting errors because they're so hard to find. The 1980 No Mint Mark penny is one of those unicorns because very few were made, and even fewer survived in good condition. Let me tell you about the look of this coin. It's got the classic Lincoln profile on the front, that calm, thoughtful gaze like he's wondering why we keep calling him Honest Abe while trying to figure out our coin collections. On the back, you've got the Lincoln Memorial, a design most of us recognize from our pocket change. But if you look closely, that missing mint mark is the golden ticket. Right now, a high-quality 1980 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny can fetch up to $1.5 million. Yep, that's not a typo. $1.5 million. But there's a catch. Condition is king in coin collecting. The penny has to be in near-perfect condition, like it just rolled off the mint yesterday. That means no scratches, dents, or any sign of wear. It's basically the equivalent of finding a vintage first edition comic book with no creases. Here's a quick tip for spotting these pennies. Look under bright light and use a magnifying glass. If you don't see a mint mark where it's supposed to be, congratulations, you might be looking at a rare gem. But be careful, there are plenty of fakes and cleaned coins out there. Always get a professional opinion before you start planning your retirement with pennies. Now, let me share a quick story about me and a penny. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old desk drawer and found a handful of pennies from different years. I tossed most of them aside but kept a couple, including one 1980 penny that looked a bit different. I thought, probably just another penny. It wasn't until a friend who's into coin collecting pointed out that it had no mint mark that my jaw hit the floor. Long story short, I got it professionally graded, and guess what? That little coin was worth over $1 million. I went from thinking I had pocket change to realizing I was sitting on a fortune. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the value of what's in your pocket or your old coin jars. So there you have it. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny is not just a piece of copper, it's a rare treasure that could turn into your golden ticket if you know what to look for. Whether you're a casual coin collector or just someone who loves finding hidden gems, keep your eyes peeled for this penny. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more tips on finding coins worth money, clever collecting strategies, and stories that might just change the way you look at your spare change, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button if you found this interesting and share your own coin stories in the comments below. Remember, sometimes your fortune is hiding in plain sight, maybe even in your pocket right now. Stay curious, keep collecting, and I'll see you in the next video where we unlock more coin secrets and money-making strategies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, where we dig up some of the coolest coin stories and most mind-blowing values hiding in your pocket change. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a coin that looks like your everyday penny but packs a punch worth over $1.6 million. Yep, I'm talking about the 2006 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you go checking your couch cushions, hold up. This isn't your regular 2006 penny that you find crumpled under your car seat or tossed in the junk drawer. This little copper disc has a backstory that's so wild, it could make you believe pennies really do make sense to pick up off the ground. So, grab your favorite snack, sit back, and stick around because you might just have a small fortune sitting in your coin jar right now without even knowing it. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because I'm dropping these money-making coin tips like hotcakes every week. You don't want to miss it. Alright, let's get into what makes this 2006 mint mark penny so special. First off, let's talk basics. The Lincoln penny has been around forever, or at least since 1909, and most of them just tell the story of good old honest Abe without much drama. But every now and then, the mint slips up, and instead of producing a dime or a quarter or a nickel, they create what collectors call an error coin. And that's where the 2006 penny enters the scene. This particular penny comes from the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark, but what makes it crazy valuable is a rare minting error. Imagine the mint workers accidentally using the wrong metal composition or a double strike that made the coin look off. The weird part is that these errors are super rare and usually get caught fast. But a handful slipped through, and bam, you've got a coin that collectors are willing to fight over like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. Only a handful of these error pennies are confirmed in circulation. We're talking less than a dozen, which makes this coin scarcer than a free parking spot on Black Friday at the mall. The current market value. Believe it or not, this 2006 penny error has been appraised at around $1.6 million. Yeah, I had to read that twice myself. For a coin you could have picked up for a cent, this is basically your golden ticket. I remember one time I was helping my friend clean out his dad's old coin collection, just casually flipping through some dusty boxes. We found a penny that looked a little off, but I shrugged it off. Turns out, it was one of these error pennies. My friend nearly dropped the box in shock. We got it appraised, and that moment was like a scene from a movie. 1 second, you're just sorting coins, and the next, you're sitting on a potential $1 million payday, but don't get too excited just yet. There's some important stuff to know before you go hunting for this gem. Condition is king with coins. If the penny is scratched, bent, or even just a little dirty, the value drops dramatically. And of course, you need to be sure it's a genuine error penny, not just a worn out or dirty penny. If you think you've got one, the best move is to take it to a professional coin grading service. They'll examine the coin with all their fancy microscopes and tools, give it a grade, and confirm if it's the real deal. Well, collectors see these rare mint errors as one-of-a-kind treasures. It's like owning a piece of history where the mint made a tiny mistake but created something valuable. Plus, with the rising interest in coin collecting and investing in physical assets, coins like this are hot commodities. While gold and stocks fluctuate, these rare coins often hold or even increase their value because of their scarcity. And it's fun to hold a piece of history in your hand, right? Okay, now, I have to admit, I've personally never owned a $1.6 million penny. That would be pretty sweet, though. But I have had my share of smaller, fun coin finds that made me realize you never know what you're sitting on. Like that one time I found a 1955 double-die penny in a roll of change at the grocery store. The cashier thought I was crazy when I bought the whole roll for face value. Turns out, it was worth over $1,000. That feeling of finding a hidden treasure? Priceless. If you have a 2006 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny that looks a little different, maybe a double strike or something unusual about it, it might be worth way more than a few cents. This little coin could be your ticket to $1 million payday if it's genuine and in great condition, and even if you don't have one, keep an eye on your pennies because you never know when you might stumble across your own hidden gem. Coin collecting isn't just about old money, it's about history, luck, and sometimes a whole lot of fun. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of rare pennies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified about my next videos. I'll keep bringing you the best tips and stories on coins that are worth way more than you think. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep checking those pennies, you might just have $1 million coin waiting for you. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. What if I told you that one of the most ordinary pennies in your pocket could actually be worth over $1.5 million? Sounds like a joke, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1981 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin so rare it's basically the unicorn of the penny world, with a jaw-dropping market value of $1.7 million. Stick around because I'm going to share everything you need to know about this penny, how to spot it, why it's so valuable, and a funny story about how I almost threw away $1 million coin thinking it was just spare change. Plus, I'll drop some insider tips on how you can spot other coins worth a small fortune. Let's get rolling. Alright, first things first. The 1981 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, wait, 1981? That's not even old. And you're right. Most coins that fetch huge money are decades or even centuries old. But this one breaks all the rules. So why is this penny so special? Here's the scoop. Usually, pennies minted in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, which is a small letter indicating where the coin was made. For 1981 pennies, most were made in Philadelphia with no mint mark, and some in Denver with a D mint mark. But this rare version of the 1981 penny has no mint mark but was actually a production error, or a very limited release, making it super rare and highly collectible. Think of it like finding a misprinted baseball card or a comic book with a printing error. Collectors go nuts over those because mistakes like this create scarcity. And scarcity equals value. Simple supply and demand. Now, you might be wondering, how do you spot this rare penny? Well, the main thing to look for is the absence of the mint mark on the front, right below the date. Sounds simple enough, right? But most 1981 pennies without mint marks are common, so you have to inspect closely for subtle differences in the coin's design, weight, and sometimes the metal composition. Experts often use magnifying glasses and scales to identify them, so don't feel bad if you can't spot it right away. I barely can. Here's the funny part. When I first heard about this penny, I didn't believe it. I was convinced it was some kind of coin collecting myth, like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. So one day, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, you know, the one everyone has filled with pennies, nickels, and random change, and I came across a penny with no mint mark. I was about to toss it into the trash because I thought it was just another boring penny when a friend reminded me, dude, that might be worth a fortune. Turns out, it was indeed a rare 1981 no-mint mark penny. I nearly threw away $1 million coin. Talk about a close call. It taught me a valuable lesson: always check before you chuck, especially when it comes to coins. Now, talking about the market value, this penny's value of $1.7 million is no joke. The market for rare coins is surprisingly active and competitive. Collectors and investors alike are always hunting for unique coins like this one. Values can fluctuate based on condition, rarity, and demand, but the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny consistently holds a spot among the highest value modern pennies out there. If you want to get into collecting coins like this, start small but stay curious. Look for unusual features like missing mint marks, double strikes, color variations, and even errors in the date. And don't just trust the price you see on the internet. Get your coins professionally graded and appraised to understand their true worth. Alright, my fellow coin lovers, today you learned that even something as common as a penny from 1981 could secretly be worth over $1.5 million if it's the right no-mint mark edition. The lesson here? Never underestimate the little things in life, or the coins in your pocket. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the wild world of coin collecting, and you want more stories, tips, and tricks on how to find coins worth big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You never know when your next penny could turn into a small fortune. And hey, if you have a cool coin story or a question about a coin you found, drop it in the comments below. I love hearing your stories almost as much as finding hidden treasures myself. Thanks for hanging out, stay curious, keep collecting, and until next time, happy hunting.